battery on my microphone keeps going. Let's turn to God's Word where we get recharged. And we read about that. Turn to the Old Testament lesson. It's on page 193, or 191 is where it starts, from Deuteronomy. So twice in the Bible is recorded the 10 Commandments, all 10 of them. First of all, in Exodus, Moses describes it as it's happening to him, went up on a mountain and all of that. Then in Deuteronomy, Deutero means second, so second giving of the law. In Deuteronomy, it's Moses as he's explaining it to the people. Here's what happened when I went up on a mountain and all those events. So we're blessed to have both of those. And in particular, we're going to look at God's giving of the third commandment. Now, I'm glad when I had to memorize the third commandment and the meaning that I didn't have to memorize the entire section here from Deuteronomy, because God really does describe why. Well, he does it one way in Exodus and adds another part of it in Deuteronomy of why, what's the sense of the Sabbath? Why did God establish that? And what kind of rationale does God give us for it? So we're in Deuteronomy chapter 5, and beginning at verse 12 is where we are at. So let's start there. Observe the Sabbath day to keep it holy, as the Lord your God commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, or your male servant or your female servant, or your ox or your donkey, or any of your livestock, or the sojourner who is within your gates, that your male servant and your female servant may rest as well as you. You shall remember that you were slave in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God brought you out from there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore, the Lord your God commanded you to keep the Sabbath day. And this is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.